All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can't believe it's 2026.
I know.
So, welcome to the 2026. Everyone get to sign?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Might have.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. All right, good evening, everyone. This is the City of Sugar Land Parks Board meeting. It is 5:30 on February 10th, 2026. I'm calling this Sugar Land Parks Board meeting to order. Please note that this meeting is open to the public and is being recorded as part of the Texas Open Meetings Act, which is available to the public. First item is, do we have any public speakers? Okay, thank you very much. Next action item, I need consideration of an action on the meeting minutes on November 11th, 2025. So can I get a motion for approval?
Thank you.
Thank you. Joan Hanson. Oh, Tracy Pipes, second, thank you. Those in favor? Those opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. So the motion, approval of the meeting minutes from November 11th, 2025. Next item we have on the agenda, this will be quick, real quick. The annual ethics training. I think this is like, for some of us, like third time to do this.
Seriously. It's participatory.
So,
Please.
So I'm gonna say this is received training related to the Sugar Land Code of Ethics Conduct and state laws regulating ethics and reporting responsibilities of city officials. Ms. Meredith will be providing that.
Fantastic. This is participatory, so you're going to have to shout out, and I know some of you already know the answers. There is a trick question in here, and there is a very solid theme. But congratulations, this year you all have made an appearance at the game. So we're going to play the game of ethics. As usual, we have these three objectives. You want to receive your overview as required, and hopefully you'll serve your term without any violations, because the ethics board does really good with hypotheticals. They get kind of nervous if it's actually a true story. So who gets to play our little game? Well, we invite members of city council. We invite members of the administrative advisory boards. For some rules, we invite the former council members, former board members, and every once in a while we let candidates for city council play as well. So we have 8 basic rules I will be going over today. Number 1, conflict of interest. It's a special economic benefit either in a business entity or a real property. So you have a special economic benefit in the business entity if you have a rule of 10% or more of the fair market value of the business entity, $15,000 or more of the fair market value, or 10% of your gross income. Real property, this is more important for like ZBA and PNZ and BSC. It is the rule of 2.5, 2,500 or more. As I go through this, you'll see that not everything applies to you. However, I don't know your aspirations. If you get tired of sitting on this board, you want to do a different board, or if perhaps you want to spend your other Tuesday evenings with us over the council chambers. I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about those rules. So if you determine you do have a conflict of interest, you're going to need to file a conflicts disclosure statement with the city clerk's office and abstain from voting or any discussion on the matter. We're going to ask that you go ahead and leave the room, because although you're very ethical people at home watching a videotape or sitting in the audience may not know and may think because you're there with your friends, you might be influencing the decision that's occurring. You also get to brag when you're related to a vendor. So when your relative who's related to the 3rd degree of consanguinity, 2nd degree of affinity, I have a beautiful chart on my desk. If you don't know what that is, I can't remember, but you get to brag if you're related to a vendor who comes before your board when your relative or your vendor receives, I got that backwards. When you or anybody in the second bullet receives $2,500 or more from that vendor. All right, gifts. This is what I like to think someday may actually happen to me. I have yet to have been offered a gift in my number of years here. However, the district attorney does call this a bribe. So we're going to go over these just because I don't know about you. I don't like wearing orange. I don't want to have my roommate pick for me and hang out at the county bed. So for things under our code and state law, you must disclose lodging, transportation, entertainment, and food. And for fun, if you're at like a baseball game or a football game in Houston and you get entertainment and food, you get to fill out the form twice because they're separate. It's not cumulative for each individual item. Now you'll notice that it is a asterisk next to food. If you have the fortune or misfortune of sitting close enough to the vendor to enjoy a conversation while you're eating your meal, go ahead and order that appetizer, get dessert, get a to-go bag, because you get spent up to $500 in food in that rolling 12 months from that vendor. or the discomfort of having to chat business over your meal. So we have 5 additional rules. Doing business with the city, this applies to city council. They cannot enter into a significant contract with the city during the term of office. And you say, okay, what's a significant contract? Well, your ethics board is the people who wrote the ordinance, and they have very high standards. They said a significant contract is $1,000. So if a council member is serving 1 term, they can spend $333 on this contract annually for their 3 terms, or if they're a lifer, do the math, it's really not worth their time. Representations and appearances, this is where we talk about what hat you're wearing. Representations, for 2 years after serving on this board, you cannot come before this board and make any recommendations for money. You can come here out of the kindness of your heart and say, my friend Bob here owns this company and he would be the best playground for y'all, and you need to talk about it. Bob can't pay you to come in front of your board. Appearances, this is where we talk about the hat as well. So it's not as important for this board, but if you're like on animal board and we're having a lot of animal issues, planning and zoning, we're talking departments or city council, if you write a letter to the editor, post on Nextdoor on Facebook, you get to say, as a member of the Parks Board, my opinion is this. As a resident of the city of Sugar Land, my opinion is this. If it's an item in front of your board, if it's an item that has nothing to do with your board, then obviously you're only going to be able to talk in your personal capacity. I talk very fast, so slow me down if you miss something. I'm thinking you're all smart people, you're going to get this. So misuse and disclosure of official information. So if you're on council, or if you're on one of our economic development boards, you get to go in the back and we talk to you about the incentives prior to making offers, and you'll see finances for the various vendors and companies who might want economic benefit from the city. That is confidential. You can also be sued, although that has yet to happen, fingers crossed. But in that case, you do come to the back with me, talk about the lawsuit and strategies. That information is confidential and it cannot be disclosed. Participation in procurement. And this applies to city council. We take our procurement process very seriously and we very much comply with state law. State law has a very strict process of notice and bidding and reviewing that we must follow. So we prohibit city council from participating up until the vote. When the contract is on the agenda, they can vote up or down. They cannot negotiate the contract. They cannot ask for special terms to be provided to certain vendors. So if we find out that a council member has talked to a vendor prior to an award, we will disqualify that vendor and the council member is subject to the code. We do not want there to be any appearance of impropriety. And campaign contributions. So this is that if it's a council member cannot receive a campaign contribution from somebody who's suing the city. We do not want them to buy a settlement. So if a council member receives a campaign contribution, they file it, and for some reason we have a reason to go check it or somebody make a comment, they must give that money back. They are not allowed to accept it under our code. I went through that extremely fast. So if you have questions, we'll get to that. But if you want to read the full text of the rule, or you can't sleep tonight, Chapter 2, Article 4 of the City Code of Ordinances is riveting. It'll be like 4 pages in, and I promise you it'll be the best sleep you've ever had. So if you have questions on these rules, you can always ask for a written ethics opinion from me. That is also a get out of jail free card. So if you say, these are kind of the circumstances, I'm trying to decide if I want to make this decision or not, or take this action, call me up, send me an email. I will write those up in a nice little email and say the facts you've presented is this. Based on my experience with working with the ethics board, I think it'd be a violation of these sections, or I think it'll be fine. If it turns out I'm wrong and you're not fine, you go in front of the ethics board and goes, Meredith said I could, then I'm in trouble and you are not. So if someone doesn't follow the rules, what happens? So they must file a written complaint. It must be signed and sworn, filed with the city clerk's office. It must name the person who is alleged to have violated the code and the section that the alleged violated, and as much facts as you can provide. If you say the city manager ran a stop sign, it's good information. However, the city manager is not subject to the code nor traffic ordinances. If you said a council member stole something and entered into contract with the city, then that would apply. So once you file that complaint with the city clerk's office, they will transfer it to my office. We will look at it to make sure it's signed and sworn. So within a year of the alleged violation, or within a year of you finding out the person's subject to the code and the violation is covered in the code. If that all happens, I hand it off to the ethics board. At that point, I'm out of the game, and we have an outside attorney who comes and advises them, because if I'm your attorney, I can't be against you in that proceeding. So the Independent Ethics Review Board has 2 meetings. The first meeting is the step 1 of the process, where they look at it and say, if all the information provided here is true, would this be a violation, or could this be a violation? If it could be a violation, the board says, okay, we're gonna investigate it. If they say, you know what, this is interesting information, but this could not be a violation, then they just dismiss it right out. If they determine that it could be a violation, then they then ask staff for a bunch of information, they ask for witnesses, and they will have a mini hearing where both the accuser and the accused have an opportunity to present evidence, testimony, and be questioned by them. And if the board does determine that a violation has occurred, they can issue sanctions. It starts at the top of the letter of notification and works its all way down to a recommendation of recall. You'll notice the bottom two are just recommendations, because how you get in office is how you get out of office. So if you're appointed to your position by city council, only city council can remove you. And obviously, if you're elected to office, you must be elected out of office. All right, that was fast. Do you have questions before we play our little game? All right.
You'll know until we play.
It's a theme. Play. I look silly playing by myself, and I already know the answers. So, to increase revenue and promote tourism within the city, we have a council member who suggests that the city install kayak-friendly boat ramps over on the Brazos River turnaround and at Oyster Creek near the Constellation Field. Does it matter that this council member's child happens to own a rent-by-the-hour inflatable kayak company? At this point, not yet, because they've made the suggestion. So here's where it gets tricky. If the council member just says, hey, I got this idea and walks away and doesn't participate, council member's golden. Unfortunately for this council member, they are just such the kind of parent, they are so supportive, they just can't help themselves. So he makes a few phone calls, gets on your next agenda, and apparently I'll really, really like it and say, this is great, we should do this. So, we have concerns yet that he made these phone calls? Yes, because he is using his position as a council member to achieve something that the average resident cannot do. So, you loved it. And one of you thought, you know what, we need food trucks. I'm not sure which one of you wants to take credit for that, but one of you thought food trucks have to be there. I mean, you're gonna have river activity and food, right? What could be wrong with that? So, now that it's gone through your board, and you have got all this information, it shows up at P&Z. As it's being discussed at planning and zoning, we got a commissioner up there goes, sweetheart, buy that food truck. I know we've been talking about it, but here's our chance. Let's go buy that food truck. If the is that commissioner sending that text their spouse a violation? And this is your trick question. Come on, I already know the answer.
Well, no, because you're getting inside information.
Yeah, the answer to insider information, but.
No, because it's.
P&Z is a public meeting.
Oh, congratulations, y'all are the very first board to get this right. Your board said, no, it's inside information, because they think that your board is closed to the public. And they think P&Z is closed to the public, and I was like, guys, you really don't get me more. But congratulations, y'all are the first board who did not consider, and I heard some of y'all thinking about it, but that's just the thought process. You got to the right answer. It is not inside information. So that is the trick question. The other trick question is whether or not the P&Z commissioner is doing business with the city because they are going to be a vendor on city property. That is not a problem because that only applies to city council. Two trick questions.
Trying to fool us.
Just trying to keep you on your toes. So obviously this boat ramp idea was fantastic. So the information gets forwarded on to our two economic development corporations to see if they should offer some incentives, cover daughter's costs. And of course, dad serves on both. How lucky is it for daughter? And dad elbows his friends and says, come on guys, we need a vote for this. And so the economic corporations do everything they possibly can, cover everything this lady needs to bring her business to the city of Sugar Land. Do we have a problem? It's a very big problem. It's a conflict of interest. So we got financing secured. You guys have endorsed it and you're putting your flyers out there saying we have yet another opportunity. You can paddle over there at Memorial Park. You can hop a kayak over here and we've got food for you. So the city council votes to grant the daughter the exclusive license. If dad votes on that, do we have a problem?
Yes. Yes.
Conflict of interest. So 6 months goes better than expected. Daughters make 30,000. The food truck company is 45,000 because clearly it costs more to eat than to float. And unfortunately, We had a happy full stomach kayaker get bit by an alligator. Who saw that coming, right? It's an inflatable kayak. What could go wrong? So unfortunately, the kayaker has decided to sue the city. He tried suing the daughter, but her income's only $30,000 for 6 months. It really is not going to cover his deductible to the emergency room. So, city council met in executive session to discuss this lawsuit, and Happy Dad was sitting right there in there with council. Do we have a problem?
Yeah.
It's still a conflict of interest. Okay, so city council now has settled this lawsuit, said, you know what? Kayaks are great, but we're not in the kayak business. Anybody that could just go stick their own kayak in the water, free of charge, not a problem anymore. However, we now have a local resident and business owner who says, you know what? I would not have done an inflatable kayak. I would have had an alligator-proof kayak. I should have had a chance to compete. I want to file a complaint with the ethics board. So we have now reached the day of reckoning. The ethics board is looking at this complaint and they're going through it. And as they go through each step, they talk about conflict of interest as we have this evening. And the ethics board tells me that had Dad at the very beginning, like we discussed, made the suggestion and then just walked away, didn't try to get on your agenda, didn't vote on anything, there'd have been no violations. But because Dad did not give up and he went all the way to the end, they think that is such an egregious violation that they would recommend recall. They do not believe that all these actions together represent the morality of City of Sugar Land and your residents. So I've enjoyed this. I hope you have too. And you're good for the next year, unless you want to come and do.
You make it fun, thank you.
Good for all.
Yes. Go get your own kayak, make the alligator.
For the alligator.
Hey, thank you very much, Meredith. Appreciate it. Next item we have on the agenda is the FY 2026 special events. Review of and discussion of proposal fiscal year 2026 Parks and Recreational Special Events. Ms. Carla Allen, Events and Production Manager, will be presenting.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carla. I'm the Events Production Manager here. Just bring some
Oh, nice.
lots of color. Because we're not boring, especially events. First slide is just a rundown of the events that we have coming up. The first one is International Art and Kite Fest. It's gonna be the 21st of March at Crown Festival Park. I see a couple of you that we've had in the past to come and help us out to do the pipeline.
The judging.
Judging, yes,
Yes, you
so
can.
pretty sure we'll be calling on you guys to do this year as well. And it will be followed up with Bites and Brews at the pump track. And then we'll kick off the summer with Memorial Day at Memorial Park and our first then Food Truck Friday, which will be centered around FIFA World Cup, June 12th. Party at the Plaza is for back to school. We haven't really set a date for that yet. Right now, I just have it set at August 2026. So hopefully it'll be like right before we go back to school. Fingers crossed at Smart Financial Center. Sugar Land Fall Fest is the day before fall. And either way, we don't have fall weather, so that but that September 19th, Fall Fest has quickly become one of like a community favorite. So, and Yappy Hour, which is one of my favorite events at Palm Springs Dog Park. We have started having this late October so we can see dogs dressed up. And it's the cutest thing. Venetia, was this our first year doing it last year? Yeah, it was great. And then lastly, we'll kick off the year with Christmas tree lighting which is a strong community favorite as well. However, this year we've changed the date to November 20th, which is a week before Thanksgiving. So prior to, just trying something different this time. And
Can I ask you a question? Sorry.
sure.
So the food truck Fridays, we used to have it more often. We just have it for that one Friday this time?
I wanna say 3 years ago, we stopped doing it every Friday in June, July. We were getting worn out, it was hot. And every week for 3 hours was just a lot on staff, and now it went from like 4 of us to like 1.5. So we only do it once. But stay tuned because we might have something coming up that's like Food Truck Friday that we'll let you guys know about. It's gonna be at the Char House. So we'll keep you in the loop.
Thank you.
Did you come to Olo? Like,
Not all of them, nights ago, just to be out there. when I-
people really
it's out
like
there.
that event. Like, it's a really good event, but it's taxing, like,
There's gonna be a lot of
a lot.
activations with FIFA as well.
Yeah.
And so city resources are stretched a little bit thin this year because of FIFA. And they're gonna do a lot of pop-up activations for FIFA this year.
Listen,
We're gonna come on that, but
if you're bored, this year is the year that you will not be. Because there's gonna be something going on from like maybe March all the way to July. It's always gonna be something you do with people coming up.
Even out here?
Yes.
I wish I would consider Food Truck Friday with a movie night, like a huge screen outdoor movie night.
We used to do movie night, but there are so many and different neighborhoods, like a lot of neighborhoods do it, so we just did away with
we've
it.
tried it a few times.
Oyster Park.
Yeah, they did
Had
had
it
it,
at Oyster Park.
had it at Oyster Creek, yeah. And then obviously with Oyster Creek, there was a lot of parking issues, so. But since a lot of our neighborhoods have it, we took it off the schedule. Anything else?
Thank you.
And here, just a few pictures of our award-winning parks. I really love this picture. This is probably my favorite picture of a memorial with the kayaking. And right here, and then this background is just, it's lovely. We have kayaking still, right? Yes. What's the name of the,
Whenever water sports.
water sports, got it.
Yeah.
How do I go back?
On the keyboard.
Remote.
There you go.
Pump track. The pump track is a cool spot to be. We typically host Bikes and Brews here, and we have for the past 2 years, and it's been really popular, so we're gonna continue doing that. Smart Financial Center Plaza is where we host Party at the Plaza. It's just really beautiful out there. And obviously Sugar Land Town Square is the place to be, so we host a lot of events there. We call the events here at Sugar Land Town Square our premium events, so.
Carl, question, with the construction that's going on over there, is that gonna cause any issues or concerns? Smart Financial? Well, the hospital. was there.
MD
Yeah, MD Anderson.
Really,
Party anyway.
I mean,
so far it hasn't.
I just didn't know if we knew what their timeline was in terms of.
I'm sure economic development does, but we aren't really privy to that, but it hasn't really impacted our operations at Plaza Smart that I'm aware of.
Brian doesn't
Just-
stop us.
Maybe just something to be aware of and ask them if they have any deadlines or timelines that might cause that date to be a different date from what you have.
For the Party at the Plaza?
Yeah.
No, vaguely remember it being there last year. Of course, it wasn't the hot mess that it is right now, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
Everything stops
just
and
with construction and parking.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna keep an eye on that. The one thing we don't have a problem with that smart is the parking.
Yeah.
Lots of
Yeah.
parking.
Yeah,
That's one thing we don't.
Right now, until they start, no, I guess I'm just concerned as they start to finish I don't know what their timeline is either, but as they start to get more people in there and tradesmen, and I'm sure they're gonna be working around the clock on that, that may cause some just more traffic issues maybe than anything else.
Good point. We're definitely gonna have to keep an eye on that. But if it becomes an issue, we always pivot and adapt. I was pretty good about staying on top of that.
next is our parks event series. Obviously, it's something that's really popular with Bites and Brews, Party at the Plaza, Food Truck Friday, and Yappy Hour. With these events, we try to utilize our parks as much as possible. This first picture of that little boy, it's actually at Brazos River Park. We don't utilize it currently, but because we're trying to give other spaces some love too, so we might get back to that. And obviously, we have our dog in it. So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously our biggest sponsor, which is St. Arnold, who keeps the parks event series being a great series, because what is it without beer? Come on, y'all. Community events, International Art and Kite Fest, Memorial Day, Fall Fest, and Christmas tree lighting are all held at different places. International Art and Kite Fest, it kicks off our spring season, and then we go into Memorial Day, which is during the summer. That event is more of a laid back event, and even though everyone is invited to come, absolutely. Do we have any veterans? No? Yeah. We do focus on veterans for this event. Sugar Land Fall Fest, as I mentioned, is a crowd favorite, along with Christmas tree lighting as well, which please keep in mind that it's gonna be November 20th. I know people have quarrels about that, like, where's Thanksgiving? You're skipping. Trust me, we're not skipping Thanksgiving. We're not. We just wanted to put the tree up a little bit earlier because I know a lot of families come in town and want to visit Sugar Land Town Square, and the tree isn't lit. So this time, when people want to take photos and everything, it will be lit for Thanksgiving and Christmas. More photos of a fun time. International Art and Kite Fest is up there, Memorial Day, Fall Fest, International Art and Kite Fest again, International Art and Kite Fest again. Obviously, that is my favorite event. Christmas tree lighting and Memorial Day as well. Event sponsorships. Event sponsorships is something that I spend a lot of time on, and as of late, it has been a thing, obviously, because in 2023, we had 70 grand, 2024, we were at 87, 2025, we were at 108,000 with one title sponsor and lots of booth sponsors. And even though it doesn't look like that many, it was a lot. A lot of people wanting to be at the event and get in front of others and show what they have, partnering with us and everything. So in 2026, that 108 is probably gonna be doubled. Keep your fingers crossed. Yes.
Okay, so in regards to this budget, this is a really, the funds, the fees y'all get from the sponsorships, privately, correct?
These are the fees that we get from
But
sponsorship.
all, that's including for all the events that's occurring throughout the year.
So last year, I could put it into perspective, we did not get funding for our Parks event series. So some of that 108 had to go to the Parks event series. That's how we have our events. If it wasn't for sponsorships, we wouldn't have Parks event series.
Which kind of leads to my next question. Like, I'm assuming that the council, or at least the city, is not helping to fund some of these functions that.
They are now.
They are now?
Yeah, we got funding for them and but that doesn't stop me from getting more sponsorships. It's just with I try to enhance the events as much as possible. With that comes a bigger budget, and with bigger budgets, we're able to do more things. We're able to reach more people and just have a lot more activities at the events that we're having, you know. But yeah, the Parks event series, it was not funded by the city at all. We had to get out there and work for it. But now we're good to go.
I always thought it was city funded as well. I always thought that.
Every year, almost all of our events are funded by the city. Carla's doing her best, her team, to offset the cost or to enhance the events with the sponsorship. So it costs a lot of money to have events. The event series are less expensive because they're smaller and require less staff and less overtime and less vendors. And but anytime we can get a sponsor, like St. Arnold's, to offset the cost of a product or even in kind, they do a lot of in kind donations, and that directly goes to the event, right? And then that's something less that we have to pay for. So especially with the CPI or inflation, as it goes up, the cost of doing business in all of our parks and rec is going up. So these sponsorships she's bringing in are only helping offset that plus some, and then enhancing our events. But most of our events are funded in the budget.
Our sponsors play a critical role in the enhancement, but
So Carla or William, do you guys do a budget for each event?
yes.
So you can determine
Yes, we do.
whether or not it's financially feasible, and sometimes it's not just the financials, but it's just.
Yeah, that's correct. We have a budget for every event. Carla's over that budget section.
It depends what the event looks like. Typically, if we have, usually in the past, we try to count from the past, like 5,000 or more people at an event, then obviously the budget is gonna be a lot. And then that gets the sponsor in front of a lot more people, so that's the one that.
Yeah, I understand that. All I was just asking was, it would be good to understand the financial implications of each event, so then you can determine whether or not, is it one, financially feasible? And
Yeah,
just because you lose money on an event doesn't mean that you don't want to do the event.
that's a great
So you
point.
have to be able to understand that there's the overall picture of your events. And maybe the Christmas tree lighting, that's the party at the plaza or something like that.
You're right.
You come to at least.
And it does. And we look at a lot of things, KPIs on a lot of things in Parks and Rec, and we just kind of revamped some of our KPIs as well. Key performance indicators. We definitely do not make money on events, but it's nice to offset. But that's not really the goal of Parks and Rec, is to always make money. Offsetting is nice. But yeah, we definitely look at that. That's probably one of the things we looked at, or is one of the things we looked at when July 4th, Red, White, and Boom went from the Crown over to Constellation Field. And then we looked at budget, we looked at impacts, we looked at value, the fact that Constellation Field really wanted it, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of it. That's one of the many, but definitely, do we say, did this event make money? Yes or no? No, it didn't. We're gonna get rid of it. But it is one of the factors that we look at. But to answer your question, yes, all events are budgeted, have a separate budget line item. Yes.
Speaking of Red, White, and Boom, it wasn't listed. Is it gonna be conservation?
It is gonna be covered.
Cause that was nice.
It was.
And y'all didn't have to do all the, you didn't have to do all the volunteers and, you know, they took over all most of.
Anything, Joan.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah, that's some relief.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a lot cooler,
Uh-huh.
you know, cause they actually have structure. In the middle of Crown Festival, we have to make structures and it gets expensive.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
The next slide is obviously our sponsors. This year NMDP was our biggest sponsor along with St. Arnold. But if you come to our events, you are sure to see either one of these having a tent. Also, this year we did something different with our sponsor appreciation night. In the past, we've awarded our sponsors with tickets to see Space Cowboys, or we took them to a show at Smart Financial. The rooms there are so small that we couldn't invite them all. So this year we did something different at Visit Sugar Land and template. Yeah, just click. Yes. I think something like this helps strengthen our relationships with our sponsors and helps us long term. But the winner for the Platinum Champion Sponsor Award was NMDP. They were a great sponsor. They did title sponsor, they did booth sponsor. Every tier last year, they had it. And it was great. I am hoping to see another sponsor like that again this year as well. Some of our awards that we got for 2025 here in Texas at TFEA, which is Texas Festival Event Association. We were awarded the silver best sponsor partner, which is St. Arnold Brewery. As I said, they have been really, really good with in-kind donations. And internationally, we were recognized at the International Festival Events Association, IFEA. We won silver for Memorial Day for the best event website and bronze for Sugar Land Fall Fest, best on-site decor. So Sugar Land is everywhere in Texas and international. Here we are. Sitting there, obviously me and Liz, who could not be here tonight, is all pictured here. And I want to thank them for their dedication as well, because without them, first me, I could not be. Anybody have any questions? No? Yes, ma'am.
Comment, y'all always do such a wonderful job with everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joan. I appreciate it. All righty.
Thank you so much, Carla. All right, with that said, but not least, Director Support, Mr. William Hodgig, Interim Director of Parks and Rec, will be presenting.
Before you leave, Carla, Alicia, I just wanted to say, echo what Joan said. I really appreciate everything that y'all do. Great presentation. But I think they really do help keep the fun in Parks and Recreation, right? And a lot of work goes behind the scenes on these events to make it to where the citizens, the residents of Sugar Land, the visitors to Sugar Land don't see that. They work really intentionally very intentionally to not show everyone the work that's takes to create an event. We just want people to come to an event and have fun and have an experience. And I think they A+ job on that. Carla, Benicia, Liz, thank y'all for all y'all do. Y'all small but mighty team, and just the awards that y'all win each year. And then the continuous drive, Carla, to increase sponsorship, to not only offset costs, but to help boost the activities and the experience in each activity. And then not only that, but all the things that you didn't have in your PowerPoint, which was all the ribbon cuttings that y'all assist with on all the other department CIP projects. We're there, they're there, planning those, helping out those departments. And then World Cup engagement, they're heavily involved in that, and we'll be at those activations as well. Even though we're not leading it, we're still assisting other departments with that. So hats off to y'all and Liz, and thank you for everything y'all do, really.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So I get to do the fun stuff here. So it's been a busy couple of months, and I know we haven't met in a while, and a lot of things have happened. A freeze, a thaw. I had to turn my AC on yesterday. That's weird. And yes, TRAPS, Texas Recreation and Parks Society. That's where a lot of the crew are right now. I just got back from Corpus Christi. I think I've got a picture on that in a second, but the local one was in November, December. There was a conference, a one-day conference. Me and Don presented at that. We presented our parks asset plan, where we, the team, maintenance and development, worked together with Don and engineering, City of Sugar Land, asset manager, to create a model for our park assets. So we surveyed 1,600 park assets. Don helped us put it onto Power BI, created a model, and we're doing some forecasting and some health condition assessments, risk assessments. And Don and me were just presenting what we've been doing for the past year and a half. The team has been doing. And so we got to present at TRAPS. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll get to present at state soon, but we were too late to submit for state, but we weren't too late for Ramon to do the local rodeo, get first place, and now driving second place in backhoe competition. And I think I got a picture of that here in a minute. But anyways, me and Don had a lot of fun presenting, and it's always good to try to get Sugar Land's name out there, right? And then talk to your peers, meet with your peers, and then also attend classes as well for the rest of the day. It was a lot of fun. It helps me get my CEUs. World Cup, as I mentioned a few times, it's coming. And how can parks get involved? Well, one of the things the team thought about was we're going to start activating some of our parks with some pop-up soccer. Yeah, so we're working with Visit Sugar Land Economic Development. They've given us a small budget for it, and I'm working with Recreation to get the supplies ordered. And essentially, it'll be about 5 or 6 of our parks. We'll give more updates next Parks Board meeting, obviously. But hopefully by second week of March, we'll have some goals up, some cones, some balls, some signage, just kind of QR codes directing people to our World Cup website. We are an official host city. And then we're working on getting a sponsor for this as well. But then the goals, very organic soccer play. This isn't anything serious. This isn't referees and coaches. This is just soccer goals placed with cones, a soccer ball, for you to grab a soccer ball and just play some soccer in our parks that aren't really meant for soccer. And it's going to be for about 3 or 4 months. Yes, the grass is going to get torn up. Yes, the grass will recover. Yes, we're about fun, not always about grass, even though I do love my grass. Okay, I worked at the Texas A&M Turf Lab, right? But we know that our parks are begging to be played on, and so we're doing this at about 6 locations. And you will start seeing goals go up, and you will know why. And you can tell your friends and your neighbors all about going out to the parks. And these are the parks like Ron Slockett, Oyster Creek, Memorial, that don't have soccer already. So these are, and this is meant for 5-on-5, 7-on-7 soccer. This isn't 11-on-11 full court, 100 yards. This is, 40, 50 yards, just pop up. This isn't meant for profit. We're just trying to get people to come during the World Cup to go out and pick up and play a little bit of pickup soccer. We're super excited about it. More details will come on that. Obviously we brought Whenever Water Sports agreement to y'all a couple months ago, and here they are. We got through the permitting and we got it built, and Whenever Water Sports hired a local ambassador, and they installed the kayak kiosks, and there they are. And we just posted on social. I think Michelle did that today. And so they literally just kicked it off. I think it was like yesterday. And so Whenever Water Sports kayaking rentals are at Memorial Park now, ready to go. So I'm super fired up about that. Yeah, sometimes smaller projects need to make the director's list. Obviously, your director's report has a lot more information on it than what I can go over today, because I don't want to preach at y'all for over an hour, because I like to keep it brief and high level. But this was a very important project. It actually took a lot of time for Caitlin Folin to design this, and it really was part of our efforts to keep the Imperial Prison Farm Cemetery at the forefront. Y'all know that Folin has done a lot of work getting the tombstones restored, the website updated, the correct names installed, the cross painted, but Jorge's staff actually designed and fabricated and welded some new farm entry gates to replicate what was there a long time ago. So just some enhancements. Further enhancements is Folin and Caitlin and me worked with volunteers to get the Jim Cooper room painted at our awesome city park. And we painted all the walls with volunteers. Flooring was probably a little bit above their pay grade. And so Jorge came in and installed some flooring in there over a couple weeks ago when we had some bad weather. So, and the guys did a phenomenal job. They did it in about a day and a half. They did that entire room and base cove in a day and a half. So my guys can do it all. Obviously we had some winter come in. It didn't get as icy or as snowy as we thought, but it still got well below 20 degrees, which will hurt our parks. And the staff worked really hard to close everything down and then get it back open. And we had 0 breaks, 0. So our means and methods are working, and these guys really work hard to keep up with the work orders, but also to do things for weather related activities. This room was a little bit too big for volunteers. Recreation had an opportunity to find some funding and install new flooring and paint at our awesome Clyde and Nancy Jacks Community Center building that's very heavily rented out. As y'all know, some of our fees went up January 1st, not by a lot, a very modest amount. Rentals went up as well, mostly to offset the rising of maintenance costs. All of our fees are listed on our website, but Heather really thought very strongly that if we're gonna increase our fees, we need to increase the experience level. And so she was able to work with a contractor, get bids, go through the city's processes, and replace it with that laminate flooring, that awesome wood grained waterproof laminate flooring. It doesn't require the wax that the old VCT floors require. New base coat and paint to really enhance. You can see the before and then after pictures, the experience at Clyde and Nancy Jacks, because this is a pretty heavily rented facility for us. It's one of our larger air conditioned facilities outside of the rec center. She also did the same at Eldridge Park. It's a little bit of a smaller room, but well used. It has classes here as well. And then obviously new flooring and paint. And no, they didn't let me pick the colors. I'm very terrible at that. I know how to install things really well, but picking colors is not my strong suit. But Heather luckily has and Folin have a really good eye for colors. And y'all can see that it's brighter, it's more warm and friendly. Jorge is actually working on getting some quotes for the bathrooms here at Eldridge. So in theory, the entire complex is going to get renovated. So we're excited about that. We've done some other renovations like at Lost Creek last year, if y'all remember that. We've done a couple of the restrooms. So the goal is to do, a couple of facility updates a year and stay on track for that. So we're excited about that. Speaking of flooring, the IPRC was closed for a few weeks during the holiday break. So the wood floors could get some fresh paint on the lines to increase the brightness of the badminton and pickleball lines due to some complaints we were having. And then obviously new poly coat on the floors, and the logo got brightened up as well. So it's back open and it's ready to go. Sugar Gala is coming up pretty soon. I'll be there. Saturday, February 21st, it's sold out. Unfortunately, it is. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It sells out pretty quick. I will be there to help out. My daughters are getting a little too old. I don't think they wanted to go with me, but I don't want to miss out on the fun. It is a lot of fun, y'all, and dad and daughter dance. It's going to be a hoot on February 21st. The staff are working really hard to get the gym at the IPRC ready for that dance. So coming up next week and through spring break is the TNBA camps. And so as you can see, we have several dates in February and in March, early and spring break March to hit the various spring breaks for Lamar ISD and Fort Bend ISD. And those are always a lot of fun. Half day and full days available at the IPRC. Soccer shots. Yeah, this is kind of similar to the soccer pop-ups. This is probably where I got my idea. I hate to admit that. But no, they do it at Highlands. So a non-soccer location, but it's really just some pop-up soccer for the tots. I think it's like ages like 3 to 7. So very young age to teach some kids some fundamentals of soccer and basically just have some fun. So that's at Highlands Park. I think it's their 3rd year out at Highlands. So farmers market. Yeah, we're probably going to bring in the farmers market manager and coordinator to come and talk to y'all more about the farmers market. I think the plan this year is to probably bring in more managers to talk similar to what Carla did. We're going to do some themes. We're going to do some just regular information sessions, probably bring in some other people besides me to yak at y'all all day and bring in some managers so y'all can not only get to know them, but also get to know a little bit more about kind of behind the scenes. They've been working really hard at increasing the number of vendors at these farmers markets, bringing in more income to offset those costs. And just to make it more fun, they're going to have some themes coming up. Lunar New Year, Valentine's Day theme is coming up this weekend. Lunar New Year, they're going to celebrate that at the end of February. And so they're incorporating these themes along with the farmers market so to bring in more engagement and make it more lively and fun. They're a lot of fun. I went a couple weeks ago, and every Saturday, pretty much unless the weather prohibits it, they're out there doing farmers market at the IPRC parking lot. Don't have a whole lot to say about this because obviously Carla said a lot today. I will say they worked really hard at the beginning of January to do a workshop with staff. So they just did a workshop with y'all. They did a week-long workshop with staff, and that's a planning workshop to make sure that we're aligning our vision and values and goals with the other departments' vision, values, and goals. And we're making sure we're not forgetting any of what they want to do in our parks so we can help assist, coordinate, and align. And so that was a lot of fun. There's a picture of them at the airport on one of their mini meetings throughout that week. I attended a couple sessions. I thought they were great. International Art and Kite Fest, yes, it's coming up March 21st. Carla went over that. We're looking forward to that. Staff is planning for events to happen about 12 months, 6 months before the event actually starts. So it's a lot of work that goes into it. We did have IT come in and do a TED Talk at the Harmon Senior Center. That was awesome. A lot of attendance there. Some of y'all attended the Senior Center Open House number 3. Thank y'all for attending. That we plan on bringing more information on the Senior Center T Harmon study to y'all probably next month. So I will dig into that a little bit deeper next month or the month after. We haven't quite decided yet. I think it's going to be next month. The consultant's working on wrapping up that report. They've gotten the feedback from the surveys in the open house number 3. And then that report will be wrapped up. Most likely, if we can get it wrapped up in time, we'll come to y'all in March, if not April, to give y'all the final report on that. So more details to come, but open house 3 was on 29th at 2:00. The consultant and I presented the plan of the 3 different options for a new senior center at that same site, expansion, a new 1-story and then a new 2-story. Appreciate those that could attend and help talk with the open house section. Appreciate that. A lot of good feedback on 3 options. And we're excited about bringing that to y'all here in the next month or so. So really excited about wrapping that report up. Community events outside of Carla's awesome city events. Yes, Jessica, our manager, manages all the exterior events, non-standard reservations in all of our parks. And yes, there was quite a few. And coming up, so Boot Classic at Browns River Park. We had the Black Diamond Half Marathon at Sugar Land Memorial Park. Outlast Houston race was on January 24th. Venaro Circus is setting up now, and Nika Mountain Bike Race is setting up for this weekend. Venaro Circus will be at Crown again for their third year in a row at Crown for about a month. So Jorge's out there checking the sprinkler systems and turning them off, and Venaro Circus is out there setting up. Jorge talked to Jorge today, and he said they're out there setting up. And yeah, I had asked Michelle if she could squeeze this in. She's a miracle worker, so she did. And literally, this picture was taken. It's probably still hot to the touch. Yeah, it is kind of hot. Hot off the press. About 2-3 hours ago, yes, my team went to Trap State for not only camaraderie and team building, but also Ramon there on the left got first in nail driving and second in the backhoe. He competed again and got first in nail driving. And there we are at Hooks Stadium in Corpus Christi, taking a picture before I jetted back over here for Parks Board. Because I definitely don't want to miss Parks Board, but I'm going to help hold the fort down with Carla. Why, as you see, Brianna's there with a big part of our team. A couple more went more today to go do classes, get our CEUs, talk to vendors, get team building and camaraderie. And really, it's awesome. Some years we can send more than other years, but this was a good year. We got to send more. And then we, of course, wanted to support Ramon as he hit 2 hits to put quite a lengthy nail into the wood and win first place. There were 6 that could do it in 3 hits. And so obviously Ramon's Sugar Land's a notch above a lot of other cities. I'm just gonna say that out loud. We had a lot of fun, and now they're gonna be going to class, kick off social tonight and go to class tomorrow and Thursday and Friday morning and come on back. And so we had a lot of fun on that. And yeah, so y'all all got t-shirts.
Huh?
It was a bribe. So I want y'all to come with me. I want y'all to come with me to April 23rd Space Cowboys game with me and Brianna. And I really want y'all, I don't need an answer right now, but Michelle will follow up with an email. But y'all some of y'all asked for a social. We got you a social. We're gonna be in the press box, the suite, Sugar Land suite. Michelle's working on the food appetizer. She's trying to drum something up. We don't have all the details on that just yet, but we're working on it. Hopefully we'll all wear our shirts so we can match. They could take a Parks board photo maybe. No, you don't have to. But a big thanks to Michelle for working on getting y'all some polos. We know it's been a few years since y'all have gotten one, and it was time for another round. So Michelle worked really hard at getting those ordered and getting those in time for the meeting. But seriously, April 23rd, Michelle's going to send out an email, but she really wants your feedback. Right now, it's going to be just you. There's only a limited number of tickets in the suite. Y'all know that. And city council also might come. So we have to reserve tickets for them. And obviously you have to reserve tickets for me and Rihanna as well, right? So it comes down to just about y'all. And then if we can figure out if council's coming or Brianna can make it or not, then we might be able to open it up for you and a guest. But right now it's just going to be you. And then if we can figure out how to get more than just you, we will do that. We don't want the tickets to go to waste, but we also don't want to not able you to come if you want to come. So that's the deal. A game with me, if y'all can deal with me for a couple hours.
Sounds good.
Sounds like fun.
Thursday.
I think that is it, unless y'all have any questions. Yeah, John.
I was fortunate to reserve the better block for a green side up plant swap and sale. And I reserved the first weekend and the last weekend of spring break to host it. And I wanted to reserve it again for a junk market, upscale garage sale and estate sale leftovers. And they approved it, but I found out that after March 18th, the city's gonna take over the better block and it's gonna be a rental. Is that correct?
I don't know. I'd have to follow up. Michelle will remind me to follow up with you. Michelle, do you know anything?
It's already a city. So who, you said you got approved through who?
Through the cultural civics,
It's through Civic Arts. So Civic Arts is part of the city.
yeah,
It's
civic
a
arts.
different division. I think they came last time to give y'all a little update. So it might be what I'm thinking, don't hold me to it, that after that time, you'll have to do your reservation through the years, like a non-standard reservation or, similar to what some of our outside vendors do for a race.
We'll follow up and try to get you an answer on that.
Get a reservation for the junk market.
Okay.
Immediately, so I hope save the
Well,
day.
congrats on your plant
Yeah, I'm excited.
weekends. That's awesome. We'll follow up with you on that. We'll get some answers for you. We don't exactly know what's going on. It's not parks. It's civic arts and they're in public works, but we can follow up and try to get you an answer on that, okay?
Andy McFarland is who.
Yeah, we know Ebony really well.
He's sweet, sweet.
She's awesome. We will follow up with Ebony and get some clarification for you on that and then direct you to the proper person that's gonna be taking it over after that. It is the city's. It just sounds to me like it might be going to a different person in the city and we'll get you that contact
Thank
information.
you, thank you, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
So William said Ramon hammered the competition.
He did.
Unintended, yes.
Yeah, all right.
Get it
With
out.
that said,
That said, yeah.
all right, thank you very much, William. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
So with that said, final, can I get a motion to adjourn? All right, Andy, second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much, Kelsey. So Andy Fawn and Chelsea Lowe.
Let's all go the
Thank you
23rd.
very much. The meeting adjourned. Yes,
Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt. Let's all go the